Heyo, Packer fans, what's going on? Welcome to the Packers Trilogy podcast presented by the Wisconsin Sports Trilogy, the podcast for diehard Packer fans by diehard Packer fans. I am your host, Trevor. You can find me on Twitter at Bender_Trevor. Today, I'm here on YouTube to bring you guys a new film review. This week, again, not even though it's a win against the Jags, not a very positive film review. I want to look at, what happened to this offense. Why, in my full-length podcast, we were to previewing this football game, I said, I don't see how the Jags can stop us. They're the 32nd ranked pass defense. They're the 32nd overall ranked defense, according to DVOA, for both of those. And I didn't see how this Packers team could be stopped by that Jaguars defense. And they were stopped pretty good. 24 points. That Jags defense has to be happy with that. That Jags coaching staff has to be happy with that. Just a very, very frustrating game throughout, I think. I think the defense is getting slammed a little bit more than I thought they deserved. They didn't play great. They allowed another 100-yard rusher. But, 20 points, and really, if you think back, special teams gave up 7. The Aaron Rodgers interception, the Davante Adams fumble, led to another 10 points. That's 17 of the 20 points right there. And the Rodgers interception was it when we were in plus territory and things like that. But the fumble actually led to, I think they were in the red zone already when they got the ball. But that led to points. And that's 17 points. You take those away and it's 3-24. And then the only thing you can complain about is the offense, right? Because 24 points, it just feels like this offense needs to score more against this defense. So let's get into this. Here, this first play, I just wanted to show this one because it just felt way too much like Mike McCarthy's offense. We get bailed out on a pretty bull crap pass interference call on the play and get a nice chunk out of it. But just 5 wide, no one was really open. Aaron just had to try to kind of force something a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of 5 wide. I think Matt LaFleur isn't a huge fan of it, and I was really confused why they went to it so often. And you'll see it on a few of these different plays. This one, I'm not really sure if this is scheme or what happened, but just Jamal gets absolutely nowhere on this run. Now, Billy Turner kind of lets his guy go on the edge, and I think it's supposed to go in between Patrick and Turner here. Now, I don't know the playbook, but there is a defensive lineman that's busting through there that didn't get touched. That's just absolutely sprinting across the line. You see he angles with that motion, and then he just sprints across, doesn't get touched. And that makes Jamal bounce outside, and Billy Turner didn't finish his block, so that was not good. Here again, just felt like Mike McCarthy's offense. 2 receivers out there. If one of them's off the ball, you throw it to that guy, and they have to go make a play. And Davante can make that play, so you feel confident in that. But on this one, Davante wasn't great in this game. He wasn't as explosive as he normally is, but yet they continue to try plays like this that was just very, very frustrating. I think for me, for sure, but for a lot of Packer fans. Here again, it's a completion. You get 5-6 yards off of it. But again, this 5 wide of, okay, now it's 100%. You have to win your route. There's no scheming it open. There's none of that kind of stuff from Matt LaFleur in these concepts. It's just you having to beat the guy across from you. Credit here to Big Bob Tonyan there. He wins his route. They are in off coverage. That's a pretty easy route to win, I would imagine. Here, this one's disappointing, right? I think it was the first drop of the day for Davante. And credit the defense here. The defense made a good play. The cornerback punches the ball out and, literally hits the ball there. They showed it on the TV copy. He gets a hand on the ball. But Devontae seems to make those catches more often than he doesn't. And if he makes that catch, he might be out on the races trying to outrun that cornerback. Here, kind of that same thing I was talking about earlier, the bubble screen to wide receivers. I personally am not a big fan of that. I liked that. Matt LaFleur doesn't like to call those very often. I did not like this play call. I do like the action, though. Get run going one way and pass out the other way. I like the action that they got going on. I don't know if it's execution or what, but there's clearly 3 guys there with only 2 blockers. Moving here to the next play, this is another Devontae drop. Again, it just seems like these are plays that he normally makes, right? It's not an egregious drop. He gets hit pretty hard there, but it just feels like 17 makes those plays more often than he doesn't. And it was really weird seeing those 2 drops in this game from Davante Adams. Here is the biggest mistake by number 17. And this one, I understand the other 2. This one, I don't understand it. I just don't understand what he's doing. Why are you keeping that so low, knowing the DB is right there? You're trying to outrun him. I actually get the changing of the hand, but he keeps it down so low, and it allows the DB to just get a finger on it and punch it out. Here, I just like this angle. It makes sense why he's switching hands, because that DB is kind of wrapping around that side. So he switches. It just doesn't work out. This one, Aaron, I mentioned this in our recap podcast. I don't know. This might be the worst interception of Aaron Rodgers' career. I have no idea what he is looking at. At first, MVS is open, but by the time he's looking to throw it, that defensive back has come out in front of it and very clearly had a step on MVS. If you're going to throw that, you kind of have to have a touch pass over MVS. Now, in that one, it's kind of hard to tell if there's anyone behind him. But if that's the case, if you're looking at that, you have to go up over the top. MVS is a pretty big guy. You can lob it over that defender there and hope MVS can go make a play. Yeah, it's not going to be run after the catch ability if he's gotten to go jump up and make the play, but it's a hell of a lot better than what happened there. So to me, I felt like I mentioned it to Tyler during the game. I think I probably mentioned it at some point during the full-length podcast it felt like Mike McCarthy's offense out there at times, 5 wide, and it just didn't feel like the 2020 Packers offense we were used to. And I do think some of that was the play calling or play designing, but I also do think some of it's execution. Looking at this last play from Aaron Rodgers, looking at the drops in the fumble from Davante Adams, and it really felt like the only guy that really showed up was MVS. And that is a little bit concerning, but also, having this team face adversity where they're not playing well, and maybe it wasn't that the players didn't have emotion like some people have been thinking this week so far, or just didn't come out and play hard and things like that. Maybe it was they just didn't play well. That could be what happened, and what goes into them not playing well, I don't really know. But maybe they just didn't play well. MVS was the only one on offense that played halfway decent, and he did a good job. I think Aaron Rodgers overall did a good job. He did have mistakes, that interception being the main one. But it's just, to me, I thought this offense would be very consistently good against this Jaguars defense. And that's something that I want to see going into a tough game against a tough defense, something that I want to see a little bit more consistency from this offense. And hopefully we can start seeing that, because this defense, we know what it is, right? We know we can't really stop the run. There's been games where they have been able to. I think San Francisco, they did a good job. Houston, even though they can't run the ball anyways. There has been some games where they did all right. I think the Lions game, but that was more of a blowout than anything, and the Lions couldn't run the football. But I think, for the most part, we know what the defense is. We know what we're going to get. But this offense needs to stop being so variable. We need to get a little bit more consistency. They have been very, very good this year, but games like this is what kind of concerns me. And overall, I still think this team can beat any team in the NFL, but they almost lost to another one-win team. So that's definitely concerning. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite them in playoff seeding, all those types of things. Hopefully they can show up, play well the rest of the season, and we can feel confident going into the postseason. That's going to be it for me this week. Make sure you guys are checking out our full-length podcast at Trilogy_pod on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Best way to get all of our contents. Follow us there. Or subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform. Subscribe here on YouTube. We'd really appreciate it. Check out our other content, the Bucks Trilogy podcast, which we recorded a podcast, and of course, by the time that was posted, it was completely obsolete with the big trades that happened. And then also check out the Brewers Trilogy podcast. Tyler just posted a video yesterday, his Brew Crew Tuesday. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out the full-length Brewers podcast. But until next time, go Pack Go.